everybody, it's Lynn with the Little Fit Nursery, and I'm here with baby Olivia. She is the Emerie Mei sculpt by Andrea Arcello. She's a full body silicone baby girl, and for those of you guys who might be new to my channel, she's actually a portrait baby done after my daughter Audrey when she was about a month old. So she's a super cute baby. So today I actually wanted to change her into this this dress by Ralph Lauren. I actually got it last year, and none of the babies have worn it. And now that we're getting into nice warmer spring weather, I thought it would be appropriate. And I also chose it because it is blue, and today is actually Autism Awareness Day, and April is Autism Awareness Month. So I thought it would be a good choice for today and for the month. And yeah, and I wanted to just talk to you guys a little bit about autism. For those of you guys who have been watching my channel for a while and might have seen a video that I posted, I think it was sometime in the fall, I shared in my video that I have two kids who are on the autism spectrum, both of my kids, Audrey and Ethan. Audrey's my 6-year-old and Ethan is my 3.5-year-old. I have two kids on the autism spectrum, and you know, it's definitely been a journey for us, and with, you know, ups and downs, and a lot of challenges for sure. And I think for me, you know, that was one of the things that kind of, you know, led me a little bit back to this hobby, especially in, you know, in the past year. It's just been so nice for me to have a hobby that just gives me so much joy. And it's just something I can like really enjoy, you know, apart from, you know, the kids and everything that's been going on with that. So, but I think given that it's Autism Awareness Month, you know, I thought it would be good just to kind of make a video in honor of that. And I definitely, you know, would encourage you guys who might not be as familiar with autism and kind of understanding like what is it exactly. It basically is a condition where, you know, your brain processes information differently. I think it's the simplest way to explain it. And so kids on the spectrum or adults on the spectrum may have like different, you know, sensory needs. Like for example, if they're sensory, you know, if you want more they may need more sensory input than the average person. And that might result in wanting to jump a lot, for example, or flap your arms, or, you know, things like that. And my kids don't, you know, and everybody on the spectrum is different. And so I think that's one important thing to know. So just because you know one person with autism, you know, it's another person could have the same diagnosis but have very different challenges and very different tendencies and likes and dislikes. You know, some, you know, there are some who are sensory seeking who actually like sensory input, which is, you know, like they like to be touched and things like that. And Audrey's like that, like she loves hugs and, you know, that sort of thing. But there are others who don't like to be touched, for example, and might be more sensory averse. So that's just like one example. And it's such a complicated condition that's very, very hard to, you know, really, I think, kind of educate you guys in one video. But yeah, but all that to say, I mean, I think that it's a different way of, you know, viewing the world. And I don't know if you guys have seen that show, The Good Doctor. I actually really enjoy watching that with my husband. But you can see, like, you know, Dr. Sean Murphy in that show. He's a surgeon with autism, and he is played by an actor who does not have autism, but I think he just does a really brilliant job. Yeah, it's an amazing show. But you can see just how he's got such unique gifts, and kind of like almost like a photographic memory in some ways. And, you know, not all, of course, not all people on the spectrum are like that, but I have noticed, like Audrey, for example, like we'll be watching a show together and she'll say, "I'm taking a video with my eyes." And so she's just like really paying attention, and it's just so fascinating. But you know, there's definitely challenges too. Like she sometimes has like a harder time, like when we go to public bathrooms, dealing with like the automatic flush of the toilet or the automatic hand dryer or sirens from ambulances. Those kinds of things like really freak her out and scare her. And most typical, neurotypical, kids wouldn't react that strongly in situations like that. And also because she is not, I think on the pro side, she's very like unself-conscious. And so you've seen her on my videos, like she really loves the camera. She's not shy at all. We had, she had her little like dance performance. Yeah. And, she did great. And she just really loved being on stage and just wasn't like, the concept of stage fright, I don't think occurred to her in the slightest. So, oh, Olivia looks so pretty in this dress, you guys, don't you think? So yeah, so she's there. So there are a lot of like strengths too, so it's just that she's different, and so as her parents, we've been working with lots of therapists. She goes to speech therapy, occupational therapy. We have in-home ABA, which stands for Applied Behavioral Analysis Therapy. It's in-home therapy that's usually, I think she has it for 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. And my son Ethan is in the same therapies. Audrey is a lot higher functioning than Ethan, and basically what that means is I think she has more skills, I guess. So she is more verbal. She has she's in a mainstream kindergarten class, and she's doing very well in the class. She does sometimes get distracted or focused on something she shouldn't be focused on, for example. But overall she's doing really great. Ethan I'm definitely more worried about because he's still pretty much nonverbal. He's starting to say a few words here and there, but he's almost 4, and he should be speaking fluid sentences at this age. So I do worry about him. I try not to, but it's hard not to worry sometimes. So yeah, so I do worry about him. And he's really but he has his own like strengths as well, and he's very in tune with what's going on. He's kind of got more OCD tendencies, so he's very particular about like wanting certain lights in the house on, for example. But they're both wonderful kids. I'm so lucky to be their parent. But it's hard being a parent of children with special needs. It really is. And I think I think it's okay to share that, and okay to admit that, because I'm only human, and there's some days where it's just like, oh, I wish they didn't have to struggle with the things that they struggle with, and it makes me sad. But I just wanted to hop on and just make a short video to talk about that, because I think it's really important that people educate themselves. So just the next time you are like at a supermarket and you see a kid just like completely melting down and just screaming or just exhibiting behavior that you kind of don't like, maybe just before you pass judgment on the parent who might be with the child, or pass judgment on the child, maybe just stop, just have sympathy, because you don't know what people are going through, what things they struggle with. You just don't know. So it's so important, I think, just for all of us to have awareness and understanding, for people who are different than us and who may have go through things that we don't, we might not personally struggle with, but that they struggle with. I think it's so important to have empathy in those situations, and just to educate yourself, on, just autism and other developmental disabilities, because it is, it's a real thing, in our society today. And we know of several other families who have kids also on the spectrum. So we know we're not alone in this journey by any means. Doesn't make it any easier, but we do have a very good support network. And I think now that we're 3 years into the journey, things have definitely I think overall improved. So what I'll say, just as I think about this hobby and kind of how it's helped me, and I really, I would probably be involved in this hobby whether, I had kids on the spectrum or not. And I actually was involved in the hobby beforehand. I had purchased 3 reborns, back in like 2008 timeframe, back when I first discovered the hobby. I purchased them, but I think, and this was before we had kids at all. And then yeah, and then basically when Audrey was 3 months old, I wanted to have a portrait baby made of her. So, that obviously had nothing to do with her diagnosis, because we didn't find out about that until she was 3. So I've just always been a doll lover. But I will say that, on those days when, life is really hard and the kids are acting up, and this is a peaceful oasis for me. It's so nice to come in here, look at a absolutely beautiful baby, get them dressed. And yes, we know they're not real. I've been getting some weird comments about that. Like, I think there are some people out there who legitimately think that we're all cuckoo because we play with these dolls. And yes, we know they're dolls. We know they're not real. So no. And yes, we're completely normal. And I have a job, and a good job at that. And it's just crazy to me that people are so close-minded sometimes about this hobby. But anyway, it's helped me a lot, like when when I've had a tough day at work or just whatever. It's so nice to like just, come here and just look at the babies in my collection, in my nursery, pick one up and hold one. There's something just like so therapeutic about that. And when you hold one of these babies, you just can't help but like I'm holding, sorry, she's off camera, but you can't help but just like kind of sway them back and forth like a real baby, because that's what they're so lifelike. And it's just, and it is kind of nice sometimes to have like the quote unquote perfect baby, because and have something that is just like for fun and just for us. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll take some time to just educate yourself about autism, and yeah, and if this video helped anybody, I barely even scratched the surface on the topic, but except to say that yes, I'm an autism mommy, and I'm very proud of my kids. They work so hard for every little milestone that they achieve. And I think about the journey Audrey's been through. 3 years ago, she wasn't making eye contact. You would call her name and she wouldn't answer. I mean, just things. She has grown so much, you guys. So the Audrey you see today, she was a very different kid 3 years ago in terms of her skills and what she was able to do. I'm so incredibly proud of her, and so proud of Ethan too. He is growing and developing in his way as well, and so I feel incredibly blessed and lucky, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I really wouldn't. I mean, autism is part of who they are, as people, and if they didn't have some of these traits, they would lose some of what makes them uniquely them. But my goal as their mom is really just to equip them with the tools that they're going to need to be successful once they're adults, and just that they will, have the tools that they need to cope better with life. And so, and for those of you guys who are out there watching, I've had so many people reach out to me just to share about their own journey with autism, that their kids, people that they know. And one person even, went out to get diagnosed herself and as an adult. And I think that's so powerful too, because I think part of it is just understanding yourself and understanding that it's different, not less. That's something we always talk about. Being different does not mean that you're less, but it's just you have your unique. It's part of what makes you uniquely you, and it's just about kind of doing what is going to help you, and just to get the help you need too, to be able to deal with life, the best that you can. And there are a lot of people who struggle with different things, and might be perfectly neurotypical, but they have things that they struggle with, and whether it's depression or anxiety just in general, or whatever it might be. And so I think we just should all have more compassion for each other. And Yeah, and I just wanted to share a little bit about that with you guys. I know it's not really on the topic of dolls, but you got to look at beautiful Olivia while I chatted about this. And thank you guys so much for being here till the end. Thank you for watching. And I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.